Hello and welcome to the Suffolk leg of what promises to be an exciting 2020 egg rolling competition. This is of course the first time that egg rolling has been hosted here at Tom and Tanya's house. This venue, however, has been used for other events in the past. You might remember the Ice Bucket Challenge where money was actually given to Macmillan, or the time that Tom rode his bicycle from the office here to the house for Cycle to Work Day. Now, of course, this year there have been some changes to the way egg rolling is being run, and here's Tom with a quick explainer. Yes, thank you, Tom. Now, the star of the traditional egg roll is the humble hen's egg. These are hard-boiled, decorated, and then thrown down a big hill in Devon. However, this year, due to the extenuating circumstances, hen's eggs have become considerably more valuable. Therefore, we have allowed hen's eggs analogues to be used. And as Suffolk is not known for its big hills, we've allowed modifications to the course. I hope that explains it. Now over to Tom for a list of the runners and riders.
Thank you, Tom. And before the competition can begin, we have to discuss the decoration, as this is an important part of the point scoring procedure. The egg in front of us now is Tanya's egg, and we can see that this is a ball that is made of cheap plastic and was found lying around the garden. And Tanya has decorated this particular egg using coloured Sharpies. The gold and silver motif there on the front side of the egg, forming a rabbit design for Easter. If we move on to the side of the egg, we can see that the gold and silver motif continues to striped lines round the egg, being separating in the centre a swirly pattern. On the back side of the egg, we can clearly see a floral design also decorated there with silver and gold Sharpies, and I do believe I can see some colour there. I think there is perhaps a black or dark blue outline. This egg expertly decorated, Sharpies not being considered the traditional way of decorating an egg, but very effective in this circumstance. Now, if we move on to Tom's egg, we can see that this too is a cheap plastic ball that was found in the garden. However, perhaps Tom is thinking that his egg will do very well in the length competition because he appears not to have decorated it at all. Instead, he has written on it a simple slogan which says, "Tom didn't have time to decorate his egg." Well, I think that's a lot of confidence there from Tom, and to explain why and explain the track, I think we need to hand over to Tom now. Hello and welcome to Tom and Tanya's 2020 egg rolling track. So, let's introduce you to the track. It starts up here on top of the greenhouse with a section of guttering that I found behind the compost heap. We move here into the dodgy joint, which is made out of some scrap wood from the shed, supported by a spare piece of waste pipe. Further on down the track we come to the balancer, and this is where the guttering was so warped that I needed a little something just to try to straighten it out. We then move on to the cat section, which is the top of the screen, and the run then transfers from the guttering onto some spare decking that I had. The spare decking takes us across to the pond area, and in the pond area there is another support before it goes into the apple tree. Now, we're not entirely sure what kind of apple tree this is. We think it might be a pink lady, but it's definitely a eating apple tree. We then come to this joint here, which is the mole wrench joint for obvious reasons. And the track now switches from spare decking into
spare pieces of floorboard. We come further down the floorboard and then we transfer to a roll of formica that was living in the shed. Now, this particular section of the track is partially supported by the Bramley apple tree and partially supported by another piece of dodgy engineering. Out of the end of the Formica roll, we come onto two pieces of electrical conduit that I had lying around. That takes us down right under the Bramley apple tree onto another section supported this time by a garden chair of spare decking. The decking being the final section of the path itself, of the track itself, then leads us down into the garden path here, where the final piece of the puzzle is this second piece of spare waste pipe, which just stops the balls from going into the grass there.
Thank you, Tom. And yes, I'm just hearing in my ear, yes, I think, yes, we can go to the top of the track where the competition is about to begin. And if I understand correctly, Tom's egg is about to be rolled. Yes, and there's Tanya, and yes, she's got the signal, and we're off, and the egg is racing down the track through the dodgy joint, and it's going down the decking, it's through the first section, it's slowing in the Bramley tree, this could be bad, oh, and it's onto the flooring, through the Formica section, onto the last section of decking, and out onto the path. That little bump on the shoulder won't do it any good, and it's struggling now, oh, and I do believe it has stopped, yes, it has stopped, and its final resting position is not terribly far down the garden. In fact, it's quite away from the real decking. Oh, and we're back up the top, and Tanya's got the signal again. Yes. Oh, and it's a late entrance. It's a green ball, and it's through the dodgy joint. It's onto the decking, and it's making its way down now past the Bramley tree, onto the spare flooring, through the Formica now, and onto the last section. And here we go. And oh, what's this? It looks like there's been interference. Interference. I think we're going to have to go to the marshals. Yes, well, that wasn't a lot of help, was it? I am hearing in my ear now that there has been a decision. Yes, there has been. Oh, it's a controversial decision. The green ball has been disqualified. Well, I must say that's a particularly harsh punishment, and we have to ask the question here at Tom and Tanya's as to whether or not it would have been disqualified if it had been a red ball. Oh, and we're back up the top again, and oh no, Tanya's is off now, and it's racing down towards the dodgy joint, through the dodgy joint, and that now is onto the decking, through the apple tree, onto the flooring. It's racing through the flooring. It's out of the Formica and onto the final section. This is a much smoother transition, and it's racing down towards the house. Yes, it is still going. Yes, it's hit the proper decking section. Well, that is a resounding victory for Tanya's egg. This is emphatic. Perhaps Tom should not have spent so much time playing with string and gaffer tape and should have paid more attention to his egg. And that, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, is it from Tom and Tanya's house. I hope you've enjoyed the entertainment this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next time.